That was quick. There you are.
I was all ready to go.
Hello, Virginia. Hello, Erica.
And Molly.
Hi, Molly.
I think we have two Mollys.
Molly and Molly. Ah, again, I'm not going to wave in that way because I still have this tentative tippy phone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for joining me, my friend.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I've been looking forward to this.
Yay. I just thought, when was it? I was recording a couple weeks ago, maybe more. And just all the mental stuff that happens. I was thinking, you know what? It's intense. It's maybe it's interesting. Let's maybe have a discussion about it.
Yeah, well, and I think we've discussed it a few, especially at the beginning as we worked on this project. I think we had some discussions, but I think maybe we've both evolved with it a little bit. So I'm curious to hear,
Yeah.
what's
Well,
transpired.
let me start by asking, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy recording our videos?
I would say now it's like a good 9. I would say not up to a 10 yet, but I think I've grown to really enjoy them. So for the most part, I mean, there's still the struggles, but yeah, I've grown to accept the whole process.
What is it? Can you elaborate? Like, what is it you like about doing them? And what do you find challenging?
I think, well, I've figured out a process that works for me, which maybe we can discuss
Yeah.
that a little
Yeah,
bit later on.
let's do that. Yeah.
But I think because I have that process, I'm not constantly battling with that aspect of it. I have my routine. And so it's gotten to be so that my recording time is generally kind of like a meditation. I know that sounds really strange, perhaps. But I know that I'm going to be successful in the end to some degree. How do we define success? But I've changed what my definition of success is for these recordings.
Also. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also find, because we're quick learning these pieces, I don't have that much time that I spend with them before going into the recording process, right?
Right.
So actually that recording time gives me a chance to say, all right, this is my time to really get to know
Yeah.
a piece of music, right?
And there's a joy in that, right? It's like
Absolutely.
this like crunch of now it has to happen. Because I want, hopefully before an hour is passed, I want this to be at least somewhat presentable. So it's like, it really focuses the mind.
That is such a good point, Sandra, because it gives me a moment of focus,
Yeah, yeah. And therefore, I'm usually exhausted after my recording session. I'm just, like, even if it's just 2 hours,
Yeah.
can I have a beer or a gin because I'm not good for anything more today.
Yeah, but I don't know if you are the same way, but I'm exhausted. But at the same time, I usually come back home and I listen. That's the first thing I do is I sit and I listen to them.
Sometimes I don't always have time to, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because compared to the height of the, oh God, I suck. I mean, who do I even think I am? I mean, will I ever get this done? Like all those kind of thoughts. The listening and going, oh look, I recorded it from beginning to end. It's a contrast.
Yeah. So let me ask you the same question. So what would you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are with doing them?
Yeah, I think all things considered, I would say I'm around there as well. 8, 9, 8.5, 9. Yeah, and I don't think that was the case from the start.
Yeah.
We've been doing this like what, 18 months now. So there's a lot of learning that's happened since we started.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, do you think if you can plunk your brain back 18 months ago, could you
Hmm.
have foreseen that you would have rated yourself at a 9 in comfort
Yeah.
doing it?
I I guess I don't really know, but I would have hoped that it would get easier and better. Um, yeah, who knows, really.
Yeah.
But like with everything, you learn by doing and you grow over time and through struggle. Um, yeah. I'm just so distracted by that person that's got a question behind you.
Oh, I know, isn't that great? It's a glove mold.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what
I'll move
is
it out of the picture so it doesn't distract you.
I'm just like someone wants to ask something.
I always have questions, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Can I just say while we're talking about this, that one of my biggest challenges has been finding an instrument.
Yeah,
I'm so jealous of you. You know that.
I know.
I is that the instrument I played on when I was down there?
One of the two, I mean, they have two
Yeah,
really lovely pianos, and
yeah.
it depends on the tuning situation. But
Uh-huh.
I
Right.
mean, no, I am so spoiled, and so I try not to
Yeah.
say anything anymore, like tweet about like, yay, I love it. But two
Oh,
very
it's
lovely Steinways.
yeah, and the space, of course, makes the
Yeah,
sound of the recording so nice. And I just keep thinking, oh, though, if there were only something like that
yeah,
within 2 hours, I'd drive for it. You drive to get there, also.
I do. I do.
Yeah,
But
but
like you said, I mean, I am very fortunate. And, you know, it's also shown me how important good instruments and good acoustical space is.
big time.
So I, knock on wood, am so just so grateful that I have that as an
Yes,
option. And I
so
wish you
great.
could just come down and like live with us
Yeah.
and go with me and record
And we could do four hands and two piano and
someday.
yeah. I mean, so like early in the pandemic, one could say, "Oh well, it's a pandemic project. I don't have access to anything else." But seriously, I still don't.
Yeah.
I have the option of that church, which I don't have that option now. I have the option of the Hamburg Steinway, which also is shut down right now.
At the
This,
library, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, Ontario is crazy. It's all shut down. Can't do anything. Can't go anywhere. I was using my magical piano for a while, but now I don't. I decided not to keep that piano. I have a different piano, which is a grand,
Hmm.
but seriously needs tuning, and tuners can't just come in when I need them now. So I have to wait a month to see if that piano that I now have in this house will be adequate. We'll
Well, you
see.
know what we could do, Sandra? We could start a whole new thing. We could choose a different instrument
Okay.
that's easier to record on, and
Okay.
we could call it Tuba Music She Wrote, and we could both learn tuba.
You know what? You're bringing up some scars, some emotional wounds. The tuba.
Okay, forget it.
The
Cancel.
tuba was the instrument I was assigned to play in first year university in this, like, it was for a half a year. You had to take vocal techniques for one half of the year and play some instrument you had never played. And because I'd already played a string instrument and a wind instrument, I guess they thought, give her a brass instrument. She's a big girl. Let's give her the tuba. Yeah.
Okay, let's try a different instrument. Harp. We can both learn harp. How about that?
Oh, sure. That's easy. Um, Realistically, I do have a clavichord in this house, so we'll see. Maybe I could do that. Or bring the violin back. Anyway, so
Anyway,
not to complain and beef about that, but it may be a couple months before I can actually get to one of my pianos.
yeah.
So we'll see. You guys watching our YouTube channel, you might just have the Erica show for a long time until this
Oh,
pandemic is sorted out.
what I was going to say is if anybody happens to be in Ontario, Canada, and has an
Yes,
idea for Sandra, happens to know of a good piano, a spot to record, let
has
us know.
connections. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
seriously.
So let's talk about the preparation process for recordings. starting with you. First of all, how do you choose the pieces?
I don't know if you find this, but I find it really overwhelming and daunting. Like, there's so much music available, first of all, even though we've recorded a lot on the database, there's still a lot to go.
Yeah,
but I have to just choose like an hour of time at any one moment and read through a whole bunch of stuff and kind of see, does anything speak to me? But even that can be tricky because sometimes you need a couple playthroughs beside you to really decide if it fits me and if it fits my technique and that type of thing.
And if it's doable on short learning curve. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And if it's just something I want to dedicate a little bit of time to, So it's tricky, and I would say there are times when I find things that I like better than other times. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah, I'm a little bit in that spot right now. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
There's a couple pieces that are like written Baroque classical time that are just in manuscript that I'd like to do, but I kind of want to put them in finale first. So.
Right. And that
then there's even more.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I've kind of started slowly to start learning how to read those earlier manuscripts a little bit more easily, but it's still tricky.
I've done that for a few pieces, but for a whole sonata or something, it's tedious. I feel like the time that it takes to put it into finale will be shaved off of the learning time because it's just easier to read.
Right. Right. And that actually, Talia had asked us a question via Twitter that kind of fits into this category. So I thought we could answer it. She asked if we, through our project, have put anything on IMSLP that it wasn't already there. And I mean, that's a yes and no answer for me. So I learned one of Arnhammer's sets of variations.
Right.
And I did put it into MuseScore is what I use. But, quite frankly, I found the process of figuring out how to upload things onto IMSLP so daunting and confusing that I never ended up uploading it.
Oh, I see. I thought, okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not good at that type of thing. And so I was like, I don't have time. I have to move on. So,
right.
So no, the answer to that question at this point is no, I don't think we have either of us added anything to IMSLP. I would love to, but just hasn't. Yeah, that I guess once it's done a couple times, then you're like, okay, I get how to do it now. Yeah.
But the figuring it out, never mind. So
but anyway, so that's how I choose my music, and sometimes I think I do a pretty good job of choosing things that I like, but then there's always times when I'm like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm less systematic about it, I think. I'm often in our directory, which is available on our website for $15 access. I'm often in that document and doing various things. And also I've been compiling Lida she wrote, and now I've just finished Melodie she wrote. So I come across various things, various composers, and I look at their piano music as well. So it has to kind of just really stand out in some way for me to notice. The last couple of things that I recorded, I heard. I don't usually. How is it with me? I don't usually come across music from hearing it. I usually come across it visually. I'm such a visual person. But one of them was somebody recorded a piece, had a video, and I just fell in love. And I thought, I'm going to record it too. And then another one was, again, I think through Twitter, somebody had written an article or something about a composer. And so I looked into her and So, but right now partly because I have no access to pianos for the foreseeable future. So I also have no list to work on, but I better get on that. you inspire me sometimes to do that.
Oh,
So
well,
I
I think we
will,
inspire each other. That helps.
yeah,
Um, I'm going to jump in for a sec.
yeah.
Victor, he's on Twitter and he's also here with us right now. And he said that we should send out requests in the social media world when we would like a
Oh,
score put into Finale. Some of us occasionally have time on hand.
ooh, yeah. That's a little thing we were talking about a few months
That's a
ago
good
with
idea.
Molly. Yeah, that's fantastic, Victor. Yeah,
That's a really good idea because I know there are some that, yeah, I'm ready to do if
yeah,
it was in a more easily readable
yeah,
state. So
yeah.
thank you, Victor.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Um, that'd be perfect.
Yeah,
Crowdsource the, yeah,
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, because all of that, we all have to work together to bring this stuff to light, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
brilliant. Yeah. So then, when you're preparing the music to record, are you generally living with it for like a week or for longer, or do you want to tell the truth about that?
All right, so I kind of hate admitting this. This is really bad. I would say 80% of the time, maybe 85% of the time, maybe 90% of the time, it's way up. I like maybe read through it once and maybe mark in a couple things before I go to record it. I actually do most of my learning during my recording session.
I, it's very similar for me.
Yeah.
I practice within the week before, just to get sort of this, get it in my ear and my cells a little bit. But
Mhm.
I always feel like, yeah, but when I get to the recording day, it's all going to be different anyway. It's going to take that incredible focus, and I can't come up with that just
Yeah.
until that happens. So,
Yeah. And I don't know if you find the same thing, but like if like I've tried to be conscientious sometimes and like actually work on them in
yeah,
advance a little bit more
yeah,
like I am this week. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. But um when I do that extra work, inevitably when I go into record, it all goes out the window. And I end up doing
exactly,
completely different.
exactly.
So that's why more and more I'm like, for the most part, I just decide to just brave it and
Yeah,
go and I gut it out.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You're not alone, my friend.
That is really good to know because I was like, do I admit this? Do I? Oh, anyway, yeah.
I did advertise that secrets may be revealed in this session here. Yeah. I mean, so therefore, like, there is a limit to the length or the complexity of the music that we can do. But I think we both are craving doing something a little bit larger scale. It's just
Yeah.
like, when? How do we find the time for that?
Stay tuned. I don't know. Yeah,
Stay
I have
tuned. Yeah.
a sonata on the docket, and so I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. I never heard about this composer before.
Mm,
So anyway, stay tuned.
stay tuned. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
And I thought
So,
by stating it right now, that would make me a little bit feel more accountable to actually do it.
right. And like I said, I also have a sonata on the docket, but I'm like just really rather read it from a nice clean score than a manuscriptish one or old-fashioned one.
Well,
Like,
Sandra, since I don't know if Victor is still on, but why don't you just
yeah.
tell us which one that is?
So what's her name? Latvian born Dorothea. Oh, her last name is it Leven? Lie, I think. Ven, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, never
So
heard of her.
I think that's her name. Anyway, um, yeah. So that's on the. I'm trying to build because of my Latvian background on my mom's side. I'm trying to build a bit of a piano music by Latvian women, Latvian born women. Yeah. So stay
That,
tuned for that.
yeah, that makes sense.
Very niche market for that program.
Um, so actually this your question to me reminds me of another question, which is, do you tend to record one piece a week, or do you tend to go in and record more than one at a time?
Yeah, it's like, so either I'm traveling out of town to that one piano,
Right.
so I'm gonna book a 2 to 3 hours is usually my
Yep.
stamina lasts for that long, or I'm paying to record in this place here. So again, I'm not doing that every week. Neither of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing quite a bit at once.
Well, it seems like quite a bit of time, but sometimes I come out with very little to show for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
depends on the repertoire choices. But when you come out with a good bank of stuff like you did was that last week?
Yeah. That was
I
last Saturday. I was
get a
very excited
text from
about
Erica. Oh, I recorded 7 pieces. Oh, that's awesome. And about 9 more tomorrow or what?
Oh, not 9. Are you kidding? My goal is, I don't know. We'll see. Because one set of pieces has 5 little ones in it. So,
Right.
but I think I'm going to shoot for 5 different things. That's my
Wow.
goal. So we'll see.
That's intense. Good for you.
Well, the semester at school starts next week. And so I'm trying
Ah,
to, really
right.
trying to.
So we'll be flush with material for a few months.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you go tomorrow, you'll
Yep.
go like first thing in the morning.
Yep.
Tell us about your day, how that's going to go.
So usually what I do is I try to get there around 9 or 10 in the morning, because that's when I think I work best, kind of 9 until 1 o'clock. And then I
Yep.
need to come home and drink tea. That's
Yeah.
all I do.
Yeah.
So I go and I set up, which for me, it's a really easy setup. I just use my iPhone,
Same.
and I have what do you call it? Oh my gosh, you put the phone on the thing,
Like a clamp or
a
something, or
stand. It's like a
yep. Okay.
tripod thing.
Okay. Yep.
And by now I know exactly where everything needs to go on the stage and all that.
Yep.
So I get that set up. So just iPhone. I don't even use an external mic anymore because
No.
I had a hard time getting good enough sound quality.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just as good and we have the same iPhone, I think, don't we?
Yeah, I think
Or
we do.
like
Yep.
around the 11 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what I do is I go ahead and I get the first piece out that I want to do. And it's usually one of the ones I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to record fairly easily. And I always go ahead and I push record, even though the first thing I do is I play through it, kind of allowing myself to remind myself of little things like fingerings or dynamic things, musical things I want to do. Sometimes when I do that, I'll get a good take, but usually not anymore. So the first round is just a practice. I just keep the camera rolling though. So once I do that little practice thing, then I say, okay, I'm going to try a run through. And I try. If I have to stop because I make a mistake, I just start again. I do not run over to the camera, shut it off, and start again. I did that at first and it was exhausting, A. B, I had to have a notepad to write down take 2 didn't work. It was
Okay.
too much. So anyway, so then if I get through the whole piece and I feel like it was fairly decent, I'll get up from the piano, stop the video, and then I take the phone off the stand and I'll sit there and I'll listen to it.
Oh, okay.
Inevitably, almost 99% of the time when I do that, I'd say that tempo is too slow. It was it's too safe.
Yeah.
But I know if I think the take was pretty good, I note that in my head and I say, okay, we're going to do another take. And I go ahead and I try a faster tempo and I try to let go a little bit. Usually that take, once I get it, is better than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I go back, if I think it was pretty good, I stop the camera, take it off, I listen to it. And if all is good, I go back and I delete the one I recorded previously.
Right.
That's a new thing that I do. Before I wanted to cling to every take just in case when I got home, I
Right.
changed my mind. But again, psychologically for me, it was much better for me to just say, all right, that first take was okay. Now I have the freedom to do a little bit more of an adventurous take. Usually that one goes better, and then I let go. I delete
Yeah.
that first one, move on.
Right.
So I usually have 2, maybe 3 takes of anything,
Yeah.
but I try to choose on the spot.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's quite different from what I do. Just because, I just had, I guess, a phone prior to getting this one where I didn't have that much space on it, maybe.
Hmm.
And so I didn't want to do like long, long takes of 20, 30 minutes. And
Yeah.
sometimes it can be more. Um, so I do get up. Uh, I start. Of course, I get like half a page, and then I'm like, oh no. Then I get up, delete it,
You delete it. Okay, I was
start
wondering.
again. I mean, if I'm not finishing a take, then delete
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then I get a little bit further, and then I get a little bit further, and a little bit further. So it's a lot of nonsense,
Mm.
but that is the process by which I really get into the piece and get into the flow and learn it.
Yeah.
Although in my teaching, I'm absolutely no, don't start at the beginning when you're practicing. This, in a way, is exactly that. But yeah, and so then if I do get a couple of like once I get started, when I start to get all the way through, then I will put a little heart. I like
Mm.
this one. And try another one, see if I can get even nicer in certain ways.
Yeah.
And usually I come home with 2 or 3 full takes with hearts of any piece. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, that one's good enough, and I'll just come home with one little heart. But yeah, I'm always getting up and down, which is annoying. And at the early stages of this process, it would really contribute to feeling like a complete loser.
Mm.
Oh God, will I ever get this kind of thing?
I think that's why I changed the way I did it, because I think
Yeah,
I did it more like you did at the very beginning.
yeah.
And I think also I have very short-term memory, I have poor short-term memory. So the more little takes I got like that, I got really confused and disoriented.
That's so funny because I would think that if you have one long take with a few different ones, that's where I would get disoriented. Then I have to
Oh
listen
no,
to the
but like,
whole damn thing.
well, but I don't ever have I don't have multiple full ones on any one take, on any one file or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So no, as soon as I get a full take, I stand up and I
Okay.
stop.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I listen to it. And that is another change. I used to never listen to it until I got home at the end of the day. But
Yeah. No, I
learned
don't listen to it on the spot.
I've learned that it really saves me time because although, you have to get adapted to that whole listening to yourself thing, which can be hard. Now that I can do it without being too self-critical and just really noting things that I need to note to record again,
Yeah.
it's really helped me to streamline the whole process.
Yeah.
But everybody has to find, I think, their own rhythm.
Yeah. I think also because I'm the one that's then taking that video into the editing.
Yep.
And when the odd time I've done it this way that you're talking about, where I start and then no, stop, but keep going. Don't press stop. I get so annoyed as I'm editing it that I have all these partial ones. So it's part of that as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so mentally, emotionally, psychologically, it seems when I watch your performances, you seem like, yeah, just sit down and play, and you don't have any psychotic spells of any
That's
sort.
because I cut them out before I send them to you. There are plenty of times where I mean, the
Yeah.
worst, right? Everybody knows this is when you have done several takes and
Yeah.
then you finally get a good take going, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to like the last two measures
Yeah.
and something
Ah.
goes wrong. Yeah. I mean, there's some inappropriate words that get spoken or shouted
Yeah.
in the empty space.
Okay, good. Good. I feel like I could have a whole blooper reel of me going, "Are you kidding me?"
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, and then like, so this is sort of a stupid thing I did last Saturday is I had this novel idea because I was trying to practice live streaming from the recital hall. And so I had my laptop there too. And I thought, well, maybe I'll live stream just privately and record my whole process of recording for an hour,
Mm.
right? So I did that and I recorded three pieces in that hour, right? But then I realized that my computer, because of my streaming program, makes my laptop make a
Oh,
sound.
heats up. You're right.
And all of a sudden that dawned on me. And so I went back and listened to the recordings of the pieces. Like I transferred them to my computer so I could hear them on good speakers. You could hear the whirring sound of the laptop.
Oh.
I, I let out quite a
Oh.
string of expletives. Because I was like,
Just
I have
wasted
to
an hour.
re-record these.
Oh, that's so terrible. Oh gosh.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's so terrible. Yeah, no, I feel like I've come a long way in this psychologically in the thing, but I know there have been many times where I've been like, I'm never going to get this right. It's not going to be recorded.
Well, so here's a question for you based on that.
Hmm.
Has there been a point where you have walked away from a piece?
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, that last time, remember I said I wanted to record a Muller Hammond piece, but I'd already recorded four other pieces or whatever. And I was getting into that last sort of 20 minutes of the time that I'd booked. And I just was like putting the pressure on. I gotta get these in this 20 minutes. But I was so kind of tired and so I just said, you know what? It's not important.
Yeah.
I got four things recorded. Good for me. Whereas prior in months past, I might have been like, God, you're a loser. How could you not?
Yeah. But you've become more forgiving of yourself and just
Yeah,
realistic about what it is you're
realistic.
doing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, I think it helps that we have successfully, I think, built quite a resource of recordings. Like, we've done 50 of them each at least,
Right.
you know? So
Right.
knowing that we've achieved that also helps to feel like, remember all those times when you thought you couldn't and then you did, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, what are your goals and have they changed over time? What are your goals when you go into record? Because like my guess is that perfection and doing it absolutely perfect is not your goal, right? So what is your goal?
You mean you can tell?
No, I'm speaking. Okay, I should have added to
I
that. I'm
assume
speaking
that you're
from
not
my
aiming for perfection, Sandra, because you've never quite reached it.
no. It's because I know I've had to. Yeah.
I mean, as always, when I'm playing a concert or helping a student, to me, it's always about creating something of beauty.
Right.
So this process of like not necessarily having got it all perfected before coming to the recording and then the recording process, it really helps to find the choreography and the rhythm and the flow and get it into my body. And once I feel like, okay, now I'm kind of living the piece, the choreography is easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's where then I feel like I got the freedom to make hopefully something somewhat beautiful. That's the goal, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I I tell this story quite often, so sorry if you've heard it before, but I used to be the music director at a church uh, that had a choir, lovely choir, quite an ambitious choir. And when I first started working with them, they were quite tense and stressed. I guess their former director had been quite, which is not my way. And the first thing we did was like an even song. And they were used to rehearsing like the whole hour and a half before the even song started. I was like, no, we're stopping at half hour before it. We're going to have a little sherry hour. And yeah, but I could feel them like, this even song is about to start. Oh, and they were just getting more and more. And the sound then, of course, gets less beautiful. And they were all so uptight about doing it right. And I just stopped them. I was like, hang on. This doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be beautiful. Like, chill out. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just here to lift people in a way, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of my main guiding principle in anything, I think.
Yeah. And I think especially for recording, I know I have that same sort of attitude, and I think that's important. And I know Molly actually had asked about that too via Twitter about, did we have any advice for people who want to do recording? And I think that's a huge part of it, right?
Yeah.
Is to have a goal that is not perfection, of course. I mean, we say that about anything, but even maybe more so with recording, and definitely for this project, there's just no need for that perfection aspect of it.
We're doing it in one take. Be realistic.
We're not editing. We're
if
not
you're editing several takes together, then okay, better be perfect.
Right.
But we're not doing that. We don't have video editing like that.
And then I don't know about you, but I know really a lot of the time when I go to record for the project, so much I carry in the back of my mind is this piece may have never been heard before.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So again, it's a choosing of what is my intent? Why am I doing this? That excites me.
Yeah.
That brings me joy. So it's
Absolutely.
Like, who cares? I want to get to the gist. I want to try to give a general impression of the piece, and maybe get one person to say, I want to print out that score and learn it.
Exactly. And that's what I mean when I say, like, my goal is to try to create something beautiful in order to inspire people to look further into that composer or that piece or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I was I'm teaching a class next week, vocal lit class, and so I was putting together a YouTube playlist of some Lieder and Melodie for these students, university students. And I just thought I would do it on YouTube because don't let me say out loud what I was going to say about Spotify. Because I couldn't make a playlist there. But I did it on YouTube. And I'm shocked at how few video recordings or recordings that YouTube has put up themselves. There's so many songs written by these incredible women, and so few of them. Like, my playlists I can't believe how short compared to the number of pieces or songs I thought I had to choose from. So I think similarly with the piano repertoire, like you say, it's sometimes we may be the only recording of a certain piece so far.
Right.
Yeah. When we're putting them together, let's just talk about how we divide the labor in case that interests anyone. So your role in putting the videos together up on YouTube.
Yeah, so I'm the tail end of it. So I think you should actually start because you do the first part, really.
Right.
Except for if I record, then I pop them off to Sandra. But usually she's so patient with me because like last Saturday I had
Yeah,
7 recordings,
seven.
got home and I was like, okay, warning, I'm about to, swamp you with videos, send them to the
Yeah,
city. Then what do you
no,
do?
no problem. I'm happy to get them. Um, yeah, so then when I have a good chunk of time and the right kind of brain for that kind of work, I I put them into. I have a little template, obviously, so I chuck your clip into or my clip into that template and shave off some edges on the ends, and then look up the composer, and if it's like a Polish name or something, then I research how should I pronounce that if it's not a language I'm familiar with, and try to say it clearly and properly. And and then just working in iMovie,
Mm-hmm.
just very much the Apple person. And then upload it, do a few things there on YouTube. Try to remember to put the IMSLP link in there for you.
Thank you.
Make a choice of what would that lead to if someone wanted to then go to another video, so putting in an end, what do they call them? End notes. Just try to find something relevant that would be the next logical thing to watch. Yeah, and then I forget about it. Oh, and I schedule it. I do the
Right.
scheduling mostly.
Yes, you do.
Just trying to keep in mind, like, are there birthdays or is there a seasonal thing or so,
Yep.
and then I forget about it, and then it's over to you.
Yeah, and then I just go periodically since our release days are usually Monday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Usually the day before, 2 days before, I'll hop onto YouTube, look at our scheduled list. And then I'm the one that goes in and puts all the details like composer information and all that jazz and copy and paste our basic information that appears in every video. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer because if there's no information about a composer,
Right.
it's really quick. But that makes me sad at the same time.
Well, it's quick, but it's also like, no, but I want to
Yeah,
keep looking. There's got to be something in some language
exactly.
somewhere. Yeah.
And sometimes I do quite a bit of poking around.
Yeah.
But then other times I do find a lot, and then it's trying to figure out and I always get torn. I mean, sometimes there's so much information. It's like, what do I want to put in here?
Right.
Whatever. So
Be
that's
interesting
what
to be interesting to know how often people are studying that, reading those notes. Like, there's
maybe
quite a
we
bit
don't want to
there.
know. I don't know. I don't want to know if nobody's reading all the biographics.
Okay, just a reminder to everyone listening. What? Look, see down in that description box? Yeah, that's Erica's hard work.
Oh, and then my other role is I also do the kapwing little clips.
Yes.
Then I usually take, while I'm doing all that stuff, then I take the video, go into kapwing, make a little excerpt, and get that ready for posting on social media. So that's also my little role.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you make the one for the Twitter, and then I also go in there and also in Kapwing make a little one for Instagram.
Yes, and we love kapwing. If anybody doesn't know about kapwing,
even though I still think it should be pronounced Capwing, but anyway.
Oh, it's so much more fun.
Kapwing.
Kapwing.
How did they come up with that?
I don't know.
So we just this past week started up our Friends video project again. It was a little hiatus for November, December. And that was an exciting start with lovely duo based in the Netherlands, the Namas duo.
Yep.
And they finished off what the Meeks duo began a few months ago, the Amy Beach Summer Dreams.
Yep.
That's what it's called. So that's exciting. And we would love to just remind our people, how do you spell that? KAP, K-A-P, wing, W-I-N-G. Um, yeah, so we'd like to remind people that we have this opportunity, Friends Video Project, where we like to promote you and your performance on our channel, as long as you're using a piece from IMSLP or from our directory to IMSLP. Or now that we have our anthologies, you could also do performances or have your students do performances and video them from our anthologies. And yeah, if you got any more about that you
Well,
want to say?
yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is we really, really want people to do this, and we are not judging anybody's performance. We are not rejecting anybody's performance.
No, not at all.
We really feel that the more recordings of these pieces that we can get out there,
Yeah,
the stronger the recognition will be for people.
exactly. Yeah.
So please, by all means, even if you're nervous about it, please don't be nervous. Please don't worry about the quality too much. If you have questions about how to record it or anything like that, ask us. We're nice. We will definitely try to give you a polite answer, and we will help you, because we really, really want that kind of side of our project has gotten kind of quiet lately, and we're sad about that, if I can be honest. So we really want to ask people to submit videos.
And seriously, I think it's so important that every level and every age group be represented. We have only that one sweet child, that very young girl that did a recording very early on.
Yeah, we have the kids from the school in Israel, which was fabulous.
They're a little bit older, most of them, but that one really young kid. Yeah. Anyway, any age, like even like a 4-year-old, 7-year-old, whatever. And especially now that the anthologies exist, like you could do a pre-grade 1 piece, and wouldn't that be something? I just think to bring that level in, adults who are either still studying or at the early stages of studying, or are professionals, all of it. We really want to represent every aspect of being at the piano.
Right. And as we do, just use, if you have a phone, you can use your phone, you know? And then if it's under like 4 minutes, the video, you can just pop it off to Sandra. She can let you know how to do that.
Yeah.
It's really, really easy. And she does all the editing brilliantly. So
simple.
She'll even add dog barking sound effects if you have a real dinger of a spot. No, that's our joke, our little personal joke.
Yeah, I can always put a dog barking on it. Yeah, so Erica, that's one thing we didn't mention. When you send me your videos, 7 of them in a row, for example. Oh, somebody's saying, I can't really read that. Yeah, no, Erica sends me video normally just by iMessage. Sometimes through Google Drive, but normally just iMessage. I think if it's 3 minutes or less.
The last week I sent you some over 3 minutes, so that's why I was saying I think I got away with up to like 3.5, 3:40. So
and that's easiest for me. If it's iMessage, then I just drag it. It's easy. But Google Drive, or what's it called, WeTransfer, or all kinds of ways.
The question is from Baroque Bitch. Is Kevin, right?
Kevin, yeah. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. So he said that he has a very young student learning Price's Bright Eyes.
Oh, excellent.
And he's going to ask her parents if they'd be okay with posting a video of her playing, and I'd love to send that to you guys. Yes, that is fantastic. Excellent. With the kids, what we often do is we won't put their name.
No, we'll use I'll say their first name.
Yeah.
I won't say where in the country they're from.
Right.
Like Josephine from Germany. Boom.
Exactly.
Or sorry, that would be Josephine from Germany. But we won't write their name in the information box. We'll just say their first name and the country. So we're very cognizant of, protecting them
Right.
in that way. So yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
wonderful to
absolutely.
have a very young and a Florence Price piece,
Yeah,
which
thank
we
you.
are going to have tomorrow, I think. I think we have a Florence
Yeah, you
Price
have the
piece.
nobody knows the oh, I shouldn't say
Nope.
it. It'd be a surprise.
Nobody knows what the video is going
Nobody
to be.
knows what we're posting. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, I do too. And I just wanted to clarify because there's been a couple of instances where people have wanted to send us something that sort of conflates the two projects. We have Friends video project and we have Piano Music She Writes. Piano Music She Writes, Erica and I do the recording.
Right.
Friends video project is you do the recording. It just is that repertoire has to be in IMSLP or our anthologies.
Yeah, and it's all described on our webpage. If you go to PMSWrote.com, go to, I think it's called
Special Projects.
Special Projects. There's a page for that. And that kind of describes the two different little projects.
You might have to scroll down to see this second one. There's this big gap that we can't get rid of on that page.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just wanted to clarify that because I've been sad that I've had to say, actually, thank you, but that's not how it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
So, can I ask you a question?
Please do.
So, how has doing these recordings, what have you learned? Or how has it affected your musicality at all? Or anything?
Yeah. Well, see, there's been this thing called the pandemic. And during that time, again, like because of where I currently live, live performances, not a thing. So this all began for me out of oh God, what am I going to do? And it's taken, a bigger life than I thought. It's just been incredible. And I feel like, yes, there's a real purpose in having done it for my own development as a pianist and even like just as a person, I don't think I would normally have, certainly wouldn't have videoed myself very often, if at all, only if I had to. And I certainly wouldn't have really enjoyed watching myself play. But actually these days, I sometimes just watch our channel and I enjoy it. I learn from watching it. I learn from watching myself, okay. So I see, I wouldn't necessarily be able to specify more than that, what exactly I'm learning from the watching. So learning from the doing of it and learning from the watching it has been huge. And I think when I finally do get the opportunity to go on with my En Pleine Lumière recording project, 3 years later, just blocked at every turn. I think though, once I do get to that recording professionally, with a professional producer and whatnot, I think that process will be completely different than it was in last time I recorded an album.
Interesting.
In 2019. I think so. I'll really have a much better sense of the pacing and of the process. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll have to do another Instagram live stream after that and ask you that then.
See if that's true or if I was just as, Yeah, and you?
I think there's two things. The first thing is I've been absolutely amazed at how quickly I can learn music.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of created it. I try to increase the speed with every time and up the level of musicality. Like I just keep pushing myself.
Yeah.
So I've always been amazed at what we're capable of as musicians and learners.
Right.
And I think this has further proven that to me.
Yeah.
I find that thrilling. And it's helped my self-confidence
Right.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think overall it's just mostly a self-confidence thing that it's just really brought to
Yeah.
the table for me. And because before this, I hated listening to recordings of myself.
Right. Same.
And
Yeah.
now that I do it so often and I listen to help myself improve, I think my playing has improved because I'm not shying away anymore from hearing things that I don't like. I'm like, oh, well, if I don't like it, then fix it.
Do it differently. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm grateful. I mean, so grateful because I think I've grown as a pianist and as a
Yeah.
musician. That's really cool. So,
Fantastic.
yeah,
Well, I'm so grateful that we have this collab, you and me. I'm very grateful,
me too.
and so weird that we haven't even been in the same country, let alone the same room, for now nearly 2 years.
Since we had this idea to do it,
Right. Yeah.
that's crazy too. We are going to have one heck of a party. We get together.
Are we though? Are you going to drink your tea and I'm going to drink my water?
No, no, we're going to break out the real stuff.
Okay. We could do an Instagram drunk live.
Okay, I'll have to think about
No,
that.
maybe not. That would be not a pretty sight.
No. We have a reputation to uphold, Sandra.
Yes. Pianists who are serious about what they do and never relax. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us, all of you, and all of you in the future who are going to watch this on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
We really appreciate your support and your being here with us. So,
absolutely. And send in your videos. Ask us questions so that you get brave and send in your videos. We want them.
Yes, the world wants them. Oh, and the next few Friday Instagram lives, I haven't told you that, Erica, but next week is Sarah Fritz talking all about Clara Schumann. And the following week, the 28th, will be Deborah Wanless, the publisher of the piano music she wrote anthologies. And February 4th will be Antonio talking about his brilliant Instagram, in his Instagram project with all the composers. And after that, February 11th will be the head of Conservatory Canada, Derek Auger, talking about all the incredible initiatives happening there to bring women into the syllabus in a much bigger way. So
fantastic.
So lots to look forward to, and I have others still being sorted out and scheduled. So join us next week for an amazing Sarah Fritz.
Can't wait.
On C. Schumann. Yay! All right. Again, thank you to everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.